I'll be crocheting this blanket using 2 strands of yarn together, starting from the darker shade and moving towards the lighter one. If you prefer a gradient from light to dark, then start crocheting with the outer end of the yarn. Use the outer end of the yarn if you prefer a gradient from dark to light. So we'll use the center strand of yarn for crocheting. Pull out this strand. Now let's look at how to crochet the main body of the flower bouquet blanket. We're taking the yarn strand from the center of the skein. First, bring the yarn strand over. Hold it down with your pinky finger. Then loop it on the middle finger. Wrap it around like this, forming a cross. Leave a tail of yarn. Insert the 4.01 mm crochet hook into the loop.
Catch the yarn on your index finger.
Then pull it through. Then make a chain stitch upwards. You can pull the chain stitch a bit tighter. This is the turning. It doesn't count as a stitch. Next, we'll pull this loop longer. We'll crochet using the seamless long stitch turning chain. After stretching it out, use the middle finger of your right hand to hold this loop against the crochet hook. Keep it. Then wrap the yarn around the hook from back to front. Next, insert the hook back into the loop. Wrap the yarn over the hook and pull it up through the loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around the hook again like this. Pull through the last 2 loops. This is a double crochet. Invisible starting stitch. Count it as 1 double crochet. Place a stitch marker to mark it. Next, wrap the yarn around your hook. Insert your hook into the ring and pull up a long stitch. Make 11 more. Pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Pull through the next 2 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into the ring and pull up. Pull the yarn through the 2 loops on the hook. Pull through the next 2 loops. Wrap the yarn and insert the hook to make a long stitch. Everyone, please complete these 11 long stitches on your own, including the stitch marked with a stitch marker. Total 12 long stitches have been made. Complete this step yourself. We have completed 12 stitches in the first round here. Starting from this stitch here, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to the stitch marker. This is the 12th stitch. Now at this point, we can firmly pull the starting loop tight. Shrink the starting loop down to its smallest size. Next, we'll take off the stitch marker. At the position marked by the stitch marker, we insert the hook like this. Then wrap this yarn tail around the hook. Next, we pull the hook to tighten the yarn. Directly yarn over. There are 2 loops on the hook. Pull the front loop through the back loop. This is a slip stitch. All right. Connect the ends to form a circle. This is the crochet method for the first round of 12 stitches. Next, we'll continue using the same technique. First, crochet 1 chain stitch, like this. Then pull up to lengthen the loop. Then press down on this loop with your middle finger. Keep it still. Hold it pressed against the crochet hook without. Next, we wrap the hook backwards. After wrapping it like this, it should align right here. The length should reach precisely to this point, just below where the foundation chain is located. Then we insert the hook at the location of the slip stitch. Keep this yarn tail positioned above the hook. Hook into the fabric while crocheting. Yarn over the hook. Pull upwards. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Then wrap the yarn again. Pull through the last 2 loops. This is our second round. The method for the first double crochet. Every time we make a starting chain, we work it this way. This stitch counts as a stitch. Then we yarn over and work into the same stitch. Now we insert the needle and wrap the yarn around to crochet a double crochet stitch into it. This is an increase of 1 double crochet, meaning we crochet into the same base stitch where we made the slip stitch. After completing the slip stitch, we crocheted 1 chain stitch, then 1 double crochet, and then wrap the yarn around the hook again. Insert the hook into the same stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Then work another double crochet. This is called a double crochet increase. After completing the increase, chain 1. Then yarn over the hook. In the next stitch, which is the stitch directly above this double crochet, We insert the needle and yarn as we crochet along the edge. Always keep it placed on the hook to hide it neatly inside the fabric. This is also done with a double crochet increase. A double crochet increase means in the same stitch, we crochet 2 double crochets. After the increase, make 1 chain stitch. Wrap the yarn around the hook, insert the hook into the next stitch behind, and pull the yarn end up. Then work a double crochet increase. After finishing, crochet 1 chain stitch. So everyone, repeat this pattern. 1 double crochet increase, followed by 1. Work 1 into each stitch like this, completing the increase. Complete the second round on your own. The final increase stitch. After finishing, we crochet 1 chain stitch. Don't forget to crochet this chain stitch. Next, insert the hook at the position marked by the stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker. Join the beginning and end with a slip stitch. Wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it through. There are 2 loops. Use the front loop to pass through the back loop. This is how a slip stitch is made. This completes the second round. We now have 24 stitches in the second round. We started with 12 stitches in the first round. The second round is all done with single crochet. With the increases, the third round will have 30 stitches. Each round increases by 12 stitches. You can count the stitches as you crochet to keep track. It's a multiple of 12. Now let's start the third round. For the third round, we'll bring in the second skein of yarn to use together. Because I'm going from dark to light for the gradient effect, we'll be crocheting with both skeins at once. This will make the gradient transition look more beautiful, more complete and cohesive. So for the second skein, we'll also start with the darker shade. If you started your first skein from the lighter end, then for the second ball, you also take the yarn from the front 4 stitches. And then we bring over the starting end of the second ball of yarn. And press down this yarn end. For the first ball's starting yarn end, weave it in for about 2 rounds. Just trim off the excess. Leave a length of the second ball's yarn end. Then, hook directly into the slip stitch of the second ball of yarn. Here, a slip stitch is made directly. Then we can pull the first yarn ball. This is the first yarn ball. We'll place it at the back. Pull it tight directly. Make this slip stitch part tighter. Then next, we'll use this second yarn ball for crocheting. First, pull the yarn up to create a long loop. Then do the same as before. Use your middle finger to press the loop onto the crochet hook. Hold it steady. Keep your middle finger still while you wrap the yarn around the hook. Then insert the hook into the slip stitch. At this point, you can keep the tail end of the yarn at the front. Wrap the yarn inside the fabric. Insert the hook this way. Now bring the first ball of yarn over. Wrap it around the crochet hook. But do not pull with this one. After wrapping it, wrap the yarn on the hook and pull it through. When there are 3 loops on the hook, take this yarn from the first ball and place it on the hook. Wrap it around like this. Then, wrap the yarn and pull it through. At this point, there are still 2 loops left on the hook. Wrap the yarn directly with the hook. Pull through both loops on the hook. This is the first stitch of our third round. Mark it with a stitch marker. Then the thread we just wound, which should originally be here, we pull it upward until it reaches. If we crochet the 2 strands together like this back thread, when it pulls up to make the loop, the distance is shorter, which will look better. Next, we'll place this thread at the back, and this is the thread from the first skein. We'll use the thread from the second skein to finish this round. For this round, we'll increase every other stitch. This is a double crochet stitch. Next, we should work an increase stitch. Wrap the yarn around the hook. Then work an increase stitch directly above the double crochet stitch. Alright. In the same stitch, we'll work 2 stitches. After completing that, for the chain stitch section, we still work a chain stitch. This chain stitch is always extended upward from the same corresponding point. So this is a long stitch increase, then chain 1. Next, yarn over and go into the next stitch. We'll work a long stitch into the matching long stitch below. After that, yarn over and go into the next long stitch. Work an increase by making 2 long stitches there. This yarn end is from the second ball of yarn. Weave it in as you go. Just hide it inside the fabric wrapping. Okay, this side. Increase by making long stitches. Then 1 chain stitch. This makes a total of sharp loops. This is the first loop. This is the second loop. Then continue making the third, fourth, all the way to the zero, RERF, or yarn over the hook. Then this chain stitch here corresponds to the 4 chain stitches we skipped earlier. Then we insert the hook into the corresponding stitch on the double crochet row. Make 1 double crochet. Then yarn over the hook, and on this double crochet, go into the corresponding stitch. Insert your hook under both loops. Then work 2 double crochets into it. Just like the second round. 2 double crochets in each stitch. That's how you do a double crochet increase. After finishing, make 1 chain stitch. Don't forget to crochet this slip stitch. Follow this repeating pattern. For the third round, skip 1 stitch. Then increase 1 stitch with a continue this pattern all the way around. Finish this on your own. For round 3, we have 1 double crochet. 1 double crochet increase, 1 chain stitch, repeat for sharp rounds. Once you finish, you can count the rounds. If the number of rounds increases, your piece won't form a complete flat circle later. Next, at the stitch marker's position, you can insert the hook first. After inserting the hook, remove the stitch marker. Then wrap the yarn around your crochet hook and make a slip stitch. Once the slip stitch is complete, we'll switch to the first ball of yarn. When making this slip stitch, you can pull it a bit tighter. Keep it snug. After finishing this slip stitch, we're switching to the first ball of yarn. Right here, bring up the first ball of yarn. Alright, simply wrap the yarn around the hook. Crochet 1 chain stitch. Crochet using the first ball of yarn. And this is the second ball of yarn we just used for the third round. We'll just leave it underneath. Don't worry. First pull it upwards to lengthen. Then use your middle finger to press down all the loops. The stitch method is the same here. Then directly press down with the crochet hook. Wrap the yarn directly around the hook. Like this, into the slip stitch you just made. Insert the needle like this. Then take the second ball of yarn we just used for this round. Place it on the hook here. Then wrap the yarn around the hook. When there are 3 loops on the hook, we will then wrap the second ball of yarn. Bring that yarn up and over, wrap it around once more. That makes 2 wraps in total. Then, we yarn over with the hook and pull it through. Now there are 2 loops on the hook. Next, we yarn over again, and pull through both loops on the hook. As for this starting chain, once we finish this stitch, it counts as 1 double crochet. Place a stitch marker here to mark it. Each round is worked in the same way. This is our second ball of yarn. We use 1 ball of yarn per round. The previous row was worked using the second ball of yarn. So this round is the 4th round. Start with the first skein of yarn to crochet. Each time, lift the yarn upward slightly. That's how you lift it up properly. Next, we yarn over with the hook. For this round, we increase every 2 stitches. So we need to stagger the increases first. For the first set, first we crochet 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, we crochet an increase, right here. Yarn over the hook. One double crochet. 1 increase. Then crochet a double crochet. After that, work a chain stitch. Next, yarn over with the hook. Make a double crochet at this spot. Then yarn over and work an increase in this stitch. We'll offset the increases. Originally, we should have made the increase on this stitch. First, crochet 2 double crochets. This stitch is an increase, but first we'll crochet 1 double crochet. Then another, followed by 1 more double crochet. Okay. 1 chain stitch. That completes 2 sets. Then, below a chain stitch, which corresponds to the position of the chain stitch from the previous round, we insert the hook from this long stitch and crochet a long stitch. 1 long stitch. Wrap the yarn around the hook in the middle and work an increase stitch here. After that, do a double crochet. That's 1 more double crochet than the previous set. Then make 1 chain stitch. Continue following this pattern in rounds. 1 double, a slip stitch. Continue in this pattern to complete the 4th round. Finish it yourself. For the 4th round, follow 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet increase, 1 double crochet, 1 slip stitch. Make loops like this, a total of 4 sets. Crochet until you reach this point. Insert the hook where the stitch marker is placed. You can remove the stitch marker first. Then insert the hook into the stitch that was marked. And tighten this strand of yarn. Wrap the yarn around the hook and use the front loop to pull it over. Create a slip stitch with the back loop. Once this round is done, we're finished. Next, we need to change the yarn. That means switching to another ball of yarn to crochet. So bring up the other ball of yarn. Take this strand of yarn and pull it straight back. Then pick up the other strand of yarn and bring it up. Crochet 1 chain stitch. After the chain stitch, we'll crochet a double crochet stitch upwards. First, pull this loop to make it longer. Then be sure to press down with your middle finger at this moment. Hold it steady. Don't move while wrapping the yarn. Then keep holding it still like this. In the slip stitch where we joined, we insert the hook. Now when you're crocheting, first wrap this yarn around the hook once. Then wrap the yarn again and pull it through. Wrap yarn around hook with 3 loops on it. Pull through 2 loops. But before pulling through, wrap the yarn around once more. Wrap yarn around hook again. Pull through 2 loops. Keep the yarn under your finger held steady after pulling through. Now you can release your middle finger. Then yarn over with your hook. Pull through both loops on the hook. That's it. This is the starting chain for a double crochet. We've completed it. Place a stitch marker here to mark. When marking, you also pass it through 2 strands. Mark it well with a stitch marker. Next, we'll follow the pattern of 1 increase every 3 stitches. The previous round was 1 increase every 2 stitches. This round is 1 increase every 3 stitches. In the next stitch, we'll wrap the yarn around the hook and work a double crochet. Then tighten this spot a bit. Next, wrap the yarn around the hook. In the next stitch, work another double crochet. That makes 1, 2, 3 double crochets in total. Wrap the yarn around the hook. In this same stitch, work an increase 2 double crochets. This is a pattern of 3 stitches plus 1. After finishing this set, we'll attach it and crochet a chain stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch for it. Then continue with the pattern of 3 stitches and add 1 stitch by crocheting a double crochet.
2 double crochets.
3 double crochets. And in the next stitch, crochet an increase stitch. After completing the increase stitch, make 1 chain stitch. This completes the cycle. 3 double crochets, 1 increase, 1 chain stitch, 3 double crochets, 1 increase stitch, 1 chain stitch. Continue in this pattern. We'll crochet 4 sets. Complete this round. Finish the 5th round on your own. Here it's 3 single crochets, then increase. Crochet 1 chain stitch. After completing 4 sets of XSLOAN, connect the beginning and end at the position marked by the stitch marker. Insert the needle there. Tighten this strand of yarn. Then wrap the yarn around the hook and make a slip stitch. After finishing the slip stitch, tuck this strand of yarn to the back. Then bring over this ball of yarn to use. Alright, bring over another ball of yarn. If you crochet using separate balls for each part, then you won't have this color changing step. You can just keep crocheting straight down. Now, we do the same as before. First, crochet a slip stitch with the hook. After the slip stitch, pull it up to lengthen. Then press down on the hook and wrap the yarn around it. Keep holding it down without moving. Then insert the hook into the slip stitch spot. Next, bring this strand of yarn over and place it onto the hook. Then pull the hook through all 3 loops. Pull through 2 loops first, but before that you need to adjust this yarn. I'll go around one more time, okay? Then proceed normally to complete those 2 stitches, okay? After hooking, there are still 2 loops left on the hook. You can release your middle finger now. Then straighten out these 2 threads. Hook the needle through these 2 loops on the hook. This stitch is now complete. At the same time, bring the other strand of yarn to this middle position. Then we'll place a stitch marker here to keep track. In the previous round, we increased every 3 stitches. So in this round, we should crochet and increase every 4 stitches. Increase every 4 stitches. We'll also split this increase across the round. That means starting by crocheting 2 double crochets. Place a marker on just 1 stitch. Then, insert the hook into the next stitch and yarn over. Work another stitch, okay? After these 2 stitches, in the next stitch, we insert the hook and work an increase. Yarn over again. 2 stitches. Work double crochet directly. Okay, finish that stitch. Then crochet 1 chain stitch. If you crochet it this way, this forms a set of 2 double crochets. 1 increase, 2 double crochets. This is one group. This round follows the same pattern as this group. Work the remaining stitches in the same way. There will be a total of char groups as well. Also, you'll notice that whenever the number of stitches we skip is even, we first work half of them as an increase, and then work the other half. For example, if we skip 4 stitches, that's an even number. For example, if half of an even number is 2 stitches. After crocheting 2 stitches, make 1 increase, then crochet the other half. The other half is the remaining 2 stitches. When crocheting an odd number like this, for example, in the next round, we'll skip 5. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increase in the last stitch. Crochet like this, okay? Make sure to stagger the increases. Everyone follow this pattern. Let's crochet 1 more set. Yarn over the hook. Increase every third. First crochet half of them. Half means 2 stitches. Increase every 4 stitches. So let's start by increasing every 2 stitches. Okay, continue crocheting. The remaining 2 stitches. Alright, so by increasing every 4 stitches, it becomes increasing every 2 stitches. Count the next 2 stitches together as 1. Actually, this one is just a chain stitch and another chain stitch. In this middle loop, we increase every 4 stitches. It's just that we spread out the increases. Next, we make 1 chain stitch. Then, following the increase pattern, work the remaining 10 groups. 1 group at a time. Crochet like this. When it's done, it will be a flat piece. For the next round, we'll do 5 ink 4. The round after that will be 6 ink 1. 6 ink 4 yin is an even number. For even numbers, we split them into 3 stitches. Skip 3 加1, then crochet over the next 3 stitches. 1 chain. Proceed to the next set. Continue in this repeating pattern. Use up these 4 skeins of yarn. First, finish these 2 skeins. Let me show you how it's done. You can complete the join yourself. When doing the hook and stitch, remember to stagger on even-numbered rows. For odd-numbered rows, just space normally. For example, with 5, 7, 9 or 11, you simply crochet 5 stitches, then add 1. 7 stitches plus 11 stitches plus 1 increase. If it says to skip 6, 8, 10, etc., when you're doing 6 stitches plus 1 increase, first crochet 3 stitches and add 1 increase. Then crochet the other 3 stitches. Remember to crochet into the chain stitch here. Because the slip stitches are aligned in each round, if they don't line up, it means you've made a mistake. So check it promptly. Once this piece is finished, it should be a perfectly flat circle. First, use up both of these yarn balls. Following this crochet method, first complete the 2 main balls of yarn. Finish it on your own. This is the result after finishing the 2 balls. Then transition from dark to light colors. Work up to round 35, with a diameter of 8 to 9 centimeters. If you tend to crochet tightly, you might aim for 36 or 37 rounds. It should end up about the same size as this one. This really depends on your personal tension. Next, we need to join the yarn. Then we'll continue crocheting. Here, we're transitioning to the lighter color. Let's take this yarn ball over. We'll start knitting from its first 4 sections, using the outer end of the yarn to knit. We take the yarn end, like this. Usually, if the yarn breaks at this position, we can skip ahead to the different part. When connecting yarn like this, you can directly wrap the new yarn around the hook. Then insert the hook and pull the yarn through the stitch. There will be 3 loops on the hook. Take the yarn you're joining and hold the tail under your work. Then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Then connect the threads that need to be joined. Wrap the yarn around the crochet hook. Continue holding the 2 thread ends at the front and conceal them inside. Crochet in this manner. You can hide them for a longer section. About 6 stitches should be enough. Keep hiding the yarn this way. If you reach this exact spot, right before the lock stitch, you can undo a few stitches forward. Undo a few more before joining the new yarn. That's one way to join the yarn. Or you can use your own preferred method. You can also splice the yarn by tying a knot. This way, we can weave in the end as we crochet. For the rest of this round, we'll crochet as normal. When we get to the increase stitches, we'll need to work the increases. As you continue crocheting, the more frames in this cell. For example, if we're adding frames in the middle, we don't need to count frame by frame like this. Look at the row above the previous one. The frame addition is at this position. The point directly above it is where we should add frames in this row. For example, our next row involves adding stitches at the edges. If we're adding stitches along the edge, we don't need to count them. But if we're adding stitches in the middle, we must ensure the stitch counts on both sides are equal. If we don't want to count the stitches, a great shortcut is to look ahead. For example, we skip another row here, and skip another row here. These are all the positions where we add stitches, provided that your previous stitch additions weren't off-center. So it's recommended to count every few rows you crochet, to ensure the number of stitches on both sides of the increase are equal. This is how you add stitches to the middle section. This row is how to crochet. Just when we have a good yarn tail here, then continue to cover a few more stitches. You can cover it all or enough stitches after finishing crocheting. Just cut off the excess yarn tail. For example, these 2 yarn tails, we can simply cut it off with scissors. The back looks like this. This is our method for connecting the wires. Now, let's learn how to crochet the heart pattern border for the blanket. After finishing 2 skeins, I have 35 rounds. Then I crochet 2 more rounds upward. This was after finishing the 37th round. Row Sanshaba begins with a flower pattern. You can adjust according to your own progress. After completing, you can start arranging this heart-shaped pattern. First, for row Sanshaba. This is row Sanshaba. The first stitch is worked normally. Follow the method taught earlier to crochet it up. This stitch also So after we finish a double crochet, then crochet a chain stitch. After this chain stitch is done, then we wrap the yarn around the hook and skip 1 stitch. This corresponds to the long stitch. Here is the chain stitch space. Skip 1 stitch, then insert the hook into the next stitch. We'll crochet a long stitch here. Then make 1 chain stitch. Skip another. In the next stitch, crochet a long stitch. After completing the stitch, we'll continue working double crochets normally until we reach the increase point. We'll find the middle stitch to add the increase. Add the increase right at the center position. That way, starting from this round, we'll always add increases at the exact center position. We won't increase stitches on either side now, because we need to align this stitch pattern. This stitch pattern is centered in the middle, with this empty stitch as the central point of the pattern. We'll just work double crochets normally in the center section. Go ahead and finish the double crochets in the middle yourselves until you reach the increase stitch positions. Increase stitch here as well. I'm right on this stitch to work. Increase. Work 1 increase stitch corresponding to this stitch. After that, continue normally with 1 double crochet for each double crochet. When we crochet to this side, looking from here. Let's take a look from here. This empty stitch area is the exact center. Then moving forward, leave 4 stitches unworked. We'll crochet up to this chain space. From here, count 4 stitches to the right. Leave these 4 stitches to start arranging the heart pattern. First, for this stitch, we should crochet 1 chain stitch above it. Skip this stitch. Then insert the hook into the next stitch and make a double crochet. Next, do 1 chain stitch and skip 1 stitch. Insert the hook into the following stitch and make a double crochet, okay? Now in the spot where we would normally skip a stitch, the skip stitch position in every row, we will make a double crochet here, alright. So if we take this as the center line between this side and that side, it's completely symmetrical. So after wrapping the yarn around the hook, the right side of this center line is 1 double crochet. And the left side is also a double crochet. After the double crochet, on the right side, there is 1 chain stitch. Then after this double crochet, there should be a chain stitch immediately following. Then, skip 1 stitch and crochet another double crochet. Then, this long stitch corresponds to this long stitch. Next, 1 chain stitch, skip 1 stitch. 1 chain stitch, skip 1 stitch. Like this. This is the center line. And on both sides are long stitches. Then skip a stitch and work another long stitch. Another missed stitch. Looking at it this way, then all the following stitches will be double crochets. Keep crocheting like this. Until here, skip to the 4th stitch for a chain stitch. Skip the position of this 4th stitch. Then the double crochet and chain stitch will correspond to this skipped stitch. Then, in the long stitch hole, you crochet a long stitch. Next, it's exactly the same as this side. Everyone follow this pattern, and crochet all the way around this round. Crochet until you reach the end position. When we get here, we'll continue learning. Join the beginning and the end together. We've crocheted to the last stitch marker in this round, leaving 4 stitches unworked on the right side of the marker as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Then, make 1 chain stitch, skip this space, and do not crochet into it. Insert a hook into the next stitch and work 1 double crochet. Then make 1 chain stitch and skip 1 stitch. Insert the hook from the back here and crochet a double crochet. At this position, for the skipped stitch, we directly insert the hook underneath and crochet a double crochet. Then remove the stitch marker. At the position marked by the stitch marker, follow the method we taught earlier to join the beginning and end with a slip stitch. Do not crochet a chain stitch here. Make a long stitch directly. Join the ends with a slip stitch. Pull through and fasten off. After fastening off, bring over the other ball of yarn. Everyone continue using the 2-ball yarn switching method. Alternate between them. If you simply use 1 ball of yarn, then just hook through directly. And then pull a slip stitch tight. Still, pull it upward to lengthen. Yarn over with the crochet hook. Insert the hook, yarn over, and pull through. Then, bring this one upward a bit. Alright, pull it through for him. This stitch also counts as a long stitch. Then we proceed to the second round of the heart-shaped pattern. We can refer to the diagram here. This is the center position of our work. This is the first round we just completed. We will finish the second round. For the second round, we can count the stitches. Second round. This is the center point position. Then count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th position is where you make a slip stitch. So when we crochet back, we need to leave 6 stitches here. And when crocheting to the left, for this position here, we first crochet a chain stitch, skipping the space here. And this one will be crocheted when we finish. Then move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. 1 chain stitch, skip 1 stitch. Then crochet double crochets again. So after that, we continue. First, wrap the yarn around the crochet hook. This counts as 1 double crochet. Insert the hook into this stitch. Work 1 double crochet. Then, including this stitch. That makes a total of 2. And now this is the 3rd, 4th stitch. Then 5 double crochets. After that, chain 1. Then skip 1 stitch and crochet all the remaining stitches in double crochet. Increase stitches still in the middle. When starting the lace pattern here, everyone should remember to increase in the middle. Don't forget to increase. Then keep crocheting. Then everyone crochet it over here. After crocheting it to this side, from this row, there's an empty stitch. Count 1 stitch forward from this position here. This chain stitch also counts as 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leave these 6 stitches unworked. Next, let's learn how to arrange this pattern. Remember to work the increases in the center section. Heart pattern and row R arrangement rules. Look at the stitch marker. It marks a double crochet. That counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 stitches in total. Skip 1 stitch with a long stitch. Corresponding long stitches for all subsequent stitches. Add stitches at the increasing positions in the middle. Don't forget, if you always increase stitches in the same spot, it might cause the increased area to bulge out. When crocheting, you can adjust your position slightly. This row should be centered. The next row can lean a bit to the right. The row after that can lean a bit to the left. Basically, just clip it around the middle of the flower shape. Then you can space them out evenly yourself. And then, as the main part moves toward the right side, we need to leave 6 stitches open. This is a double crochet corresponding to the main body skipped stitch. Next to it is 1 skipped stitch. This also counts as 2 stitches. 3 stitches, 4 stitches, 5 stitches, 6 stitches, that's 6 in total. Then, above the 6th stitch position, we crochet a chain stitch. And skip it without crocheting. Then, crochet a long stitch. Skip a stitch in this position and crochet a long stitch. 2 stitches. Crochet 3 long stitches corresponding to the long stitches. Then, crochet 4 stitches in the skipped stitch position. Here, it's 5 stitches. Good, 5 stitches. For this stitch, we'll make a slip stitch to skip it. Now we'll crochet directly from its right side. Earlier we crocheted along the central line of the main body. Now that the right side is done, we'll crochet the left side. The left side is completely symmetrical to the right side. So from this empty stitch, crochet to the left, starting with 5 double crochets. 2 done. 3, 4. After crocheting 5 double crochets, make 1 chain stitch. Then skip 1 stitch directly below. Continue with double crochet in the following stitches. Continue all the way to this side. When you reach the middle here, pick a suitable spot. Crochet 1 increase stitch. Skip the main stitch. On the right side, the heart pattern here is the same as on this side. Second round, continue until the end at this point. This is the center line. You align the skipped main stitch position accordingly. If you consider it the center line, count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the 6th stitch position. Then at the 6th stitch position, we'll make a slip stitch. Skip the corresponding stitch without working into it. First make a slip stitch. Then skip the 6th stitch without working into it. Then insert the hook and crochet. Immediately after the stitch, there are 5 more. 2, 3, 5 stitches, 5 stitches. This is the center stitch. Then crochet 1 chain stitch. Skip this stitch. Do not crochet the marker. Remove it. Mark this spot with a stitch marker. Now we thread the needle through. All connections are made with slip stitches. This completes the second round of our heart pattern. Next, we'll continue to crochet. The third round. Switch to the other ball of yarn. First stitch on the left. Wrap the yarn normally and make a starting stitch. Pull this strand a bit tighter. Then hold this down, same as before. Hold it down and insert the needle. Insert through 2 strands here. It's actually the same as before. Wrap the yarn over and pull through. Okay, this is the first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, make 1 chain stitch here. Skip this stitch. And then, all the following stitches will be double crochets. When we get to the end of the round, then this one is the midline. For this one, we will also crochet a double crochet stitch into it later. Move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, when we reach this point on this stitch, after completing this stitch, crochet 1 chain stitch, and then skip this stitch. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 long stitches fill the center stitch completely. In this hole, Just crochet one more long stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a total of 7 single crochets. After completing this stitch, we then worked 6 more single crochets, followed by 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch, then 1 chain stitch. After each stitch, skip the corresponding one below, then don't stitch for the air conditioning part. Then from the back, hook into it with a long stitch. As for increasing stitches, the middle section still needs to be increased. Everyone, make sure not to forget to add them. You can start here. For example, in the previous round, we went towards the middle. In this round, we will crochet to the right. Or, if the previous round was to the right, this round we will crochet to the left. Then adjust and add stitches as needed. Just complete this pattern. And from there, you can pick up stitches wherever you like. Then, fill the middle entirely with double crochets. After finishing the middle long stitch, let's take a look. Counting from the center line to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches or so. Basically, they all follow this 8 long stitches. Then, we crochet 1 chain stitch. This is the position of the 8th stitch. Then the air conditioning is... Next, do long crochet stitches. 1, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7 stitches. Then right here in the middle, this is where our center line aligns. Starting from this round, for the center line position afterward, we'll always crochet 1 double crochet. And this is where our right side center line begins. Counting from the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this empty stitch is the 8th stitch. The left side should be symmetrical as well. After the center line, on the left side, continue with 1, 2, 3. In the 5th hole, work 1 double crochet directly. 6, 7, work 7 double crochets. Then make a chain stitch, skip 1 stitch, including the chain stitch, and that makes a total of 8 stitches. So when you go to crochet, this is the center line position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then from the center line to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it's the skip stitch. 7 skip stitches complete 1 skip stitch section. So here, 7 stitches plus 7 stitches, plus the center. This section has 2 skip stitch sections in total. The middle part is 50, 50, 50, first, fourth. And then with this, we finish 1 group. Continue the rest of the rounds using this crochet method. Remember to always make the increases. Don't forget, when you make the increases, remember to adjust their placement. After finishing round 3, move on to round 4. The method for the 4th round is the same as the 3rd round. The positioning is also the same. Then, starting from the 5th round, begin shifting in this direction. After that, everyone can continue following this chart to crochet. After you finish, you can check the stitch count. Count the number of stitches in the gaps between the empty stitches. Make sure it matches the chart. Then there should basically be no issue. After that, once we finish this section, we should place a stitch marker here. Then, working inside this, we'll crochet to the end. Here we need to make a double crochet. And then slip stitch to join. For the next round, everyone should remember this spot. Now, for the rest of the pattern, this entire central line corresponds to a long crochet stitch. You can complete the remaining pattern on your own. As long as you can read the chart, it's actually quite simple. You don't even need to watch the video. For the heart-shaped lace section, we have completed 7 rounds. Alright, let's proceed. We'll continue with the next stitch. Just follow the main crochet method we've been using. Let's take a look. It's straightforward. A starting chain stitch also counts as 1 stitch. Then, yarn over and insert the hook into the space. Crochet a double crochet. Then crochet a double crochet into it. 1 stitch for each corresponding. As for the increased stitches in this round, you can simply add them in the middle. Just make sure to add the increased stitches in this spot. Then continue with double crochet. And for the hole, crochet a double crochet into it. Then a double crochet. This is the very center stitch. For this center stitch, we will directly crochet a slip stitch into it. First, everyone, crochet the double crochet from the front, following the main body's crochet method. I have crocheted a double crochet after the stitch marker. Then find a spot and make an increase stitch. Next, crochet in this direction. Continue until you reach this point. Now look at this location on the 7th round of the heart. Yarn over the hook and insert into this hole to make a double crochet. Then yarn over the hook again. This marks the 7th round. After crocheting, here are 3 double crochet. First, we crochet 1 double crochet. Then, crochet 1 chain stitch. Skip this stitch and crochet a double crochet from this side. Next, crochet a double crochet into this hole. Then, crochet double crochets all the way between these 2 hearts. Finally, find a stitch position and add an increase. Once we finish this round of crochet, the heart will become a complete pattern. So the heart actually has 8 rows in total. We've already crocheted the first 7 rows. This last row is actually part of the main body stitch pattern. If we align it properly, it should match up with the chain space on the main body over here. They are aligned. If they don't seem to match up, you probably selected the wrong ones. They are off. You can check and remove the current. You can also check each row as you go along. This way, if there's a mistake, let's crochet to the 8th row of the heart pattern. You can adjust the number of frames here. It needs to be divisible by 8. The number of frames between these 2 hearts. I have it set to 3 frames, plus 1 extra frame. I also added stitches here in this row. Then we can calculate it. 43 stitches apart, plus 3 stitches, plus 3 stitches, plus 3 stitches. That refers to an increased stitch. For 1 increased stitch, it means leaving 2 stitches. Counting this empty stitch position as 1 stitch. So adding 3 stitches makes 46. We have 12 groups times 12. That's a total of 55,202 stitches. 552. Then one pattern group is 8 stitches, divided by 8 equals 60. That means my next count will be divisible by 8. Crochet 69 rows patterns. After everyone finishes crocheting, you must check if it's divisible by. If you don't add any stitches, it will be divisible by. Adding stitches would make it indivisible. Then simply don't add any stitches. If you're not adding stitches, you can finish crocheting the 8th row of this heart section. That also means you can skip adding stitches here and simply crochet 1 double crochet instead. In my case, I need to add stitches here. Everyone, if you're like me and have crocheted an odd-numbered row, but if you happen to be on an even-numbered row, you can actually skip adding it here. I'm working on the odd-numbered rows. Next, we'll continue using this method and finish off the remaining stitches. Whenever you reach this heart-shaped section, skip the middle stitch of these 3. Don't crochet. The top corresponds to 1 lock stitch. This side should match with that side. Everyone, finish this round on your own. New pattern. Row 8. We finished. Next, we'll crochet another round upward. No increase or decrease. Next, we'll crochet the open work section. Start by chaining 1. The method is the same for every round. Complete this part on your own. Then, chain 3 stitches into the stitch where you made the slip stitch. Then yarn over and make a double crochet. Next, yarn over and skip the next 2 stitches below. Into the 3rd stitch. Insert your hook and make a double crochet. After completing this double crochet, make a chain stitch. Yarn over and work into the same stitch. Next, crochet a double crochet. This completes 2 loops. Now, we will continue crocheting following this pattern. Skip 2 stitches. In the 3rd stitch, insert the hook and crochet a double crochet. After the double crochet, separate with 3 chain stitches. Then, yarn over. Then, in the same stitch, we'll crochet another double crochet. Next, we'll skip 2 stitches. Then, insert the hook into the 3rd stitch and crochet a double crochet. After that, chain 3. Then, insert the hook into the same stitch and crochet a double crochet. Alright? Follow this pattern to complete this entire round. Yarn over, skip 2 stitches. Insert hook into all 4 positions. Crochet a double crochet. Complete this round of lace pattern on your own. We've reached the end of this round. This is how it should look at this stage. After completing the last full flower pattern, leave 2 empty stitches at the bottom. Then, at the position marked by the stitch marker, we insert the hook and make a slip stitch. Insert the hook directly. Yarn over with the hook. Pull the front loop through the back to make the slip stitch. Then, alternate with the second skein of yarn. Bring the yarn from the other ball up and continue crocheting. Then, since we're starting a new row here, we'll be doing double crochets. Work 3 double crochets into the space formed by the 3 chain stitches. So first, we'll make 2 chain stitches as the turning chain. But these 2 turning chains don't count as stitches. Next, we loop the yarn around the hook. And work 3 double crochets into the 3 chain stitches below. Place a stitch marker on the first double crochet worked. Later, when we slip stitch to join, we will join into this marked stitch. Then, insert the hook to work 3 more double crochets. Like this, 1, 2, 3. Then simply yarn over the hook. Skip this one here. Go directly into the hole formed by the 3 chain stitches. Work 3 double crochets. Then, into the same hole, work another 3 double crochets. Actually, all the double crochets in this round are worked into these open work holes. And this opening here doesn't count. It's formed by 3 chain stitches. Into this hole. Everyone continue crocheting this round following this method. After finishing, it will look like this. Complete this round of double crochets on your own. After crocheting, it will look like this. If you're following my setup exactly, using 5 skeins for the main color, 4 for the body, and 1 for the then we can hold off on switching to the leaf yarn. Let's finish crocheting the flowers first. Work up to this row. I have the main color for the 4th skein here. There's about 11 grams left after finishing the crochet. Then we'll bring over the 5th skein of yarn. First, let's finish crocheting the flower. We can calculate how many flowers are needed in total. We're crocheting to round 44, increasing 1 stitch every 40 strand stitches. There are approximately 62 flower motifs. Calculate 69 flower stitches based on your own situation. Then we'll take out a skein of yarn. First, complete these 69 flower stitches. See how much main yarn remains, whether it's enough for 2 more rounds. If it's sufficient, we'll add 2 rounds of increases later. If you increase for 2 rounds, you'll have 3 more flowers. That means 69 plus 3 equals 72 flowers. It depends on how tight or loose your stitches are and how many rounds of increases you do. You can decide based on your own situation. So next, let's finish the flowers first. Now, I'll explain it to you. Crochet technique for the pointed rows. Bring the yarn over. Leave the tail end about the same length as the crochet hook. Then place the hook over the yarn and make a loop around it. Pinch the crossed section. Make a slip knot with the hook and pull tight. This starting stitch doesn't count. Next, crochet upward. Crochet 17 chain stitches. Try to keep them loose. This is the first stitch. Second stitch. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. 50, 60, 77 chain stitches. After finishing, wrap the yarn around the hook and count back. The 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert the hook into the 4th stitch, picking up half of it. Wrap the yarn around the hook and start pulling up slightly looser. Work a half double crochet, which is done by pulling through all 3 loops on the hook at once. Make 4 half double crochets. Then wrap the yarn around the hook, same insertion point. Work the second half double crochet, then wrap the yarn again. 3 half double crochets, wrap the yarn again, okay? 4 half double crochets. Next, wrap the yarn around the hook. Change to a new insertion point. Insert the hook into the next stitch and work a double crochet, long stitch. This long stitch can be a bit tighter, so it can transition more smoothly to the height of the half double crochet over here. Then yarn over hook. If you prefer a larger flower, you can gradually make these long stitches looser. This stitch is looser than the previous long stitch. Then wind the yarn again and insert the hook. In this base stitch, we crochet 3 half double crochets. 3 double crochets, and in the first hole we crochet 4 half double crochets. In the second hole, we crochet 3 double crochets. Next, we begin to crochet the pointed tip. The pointed tip of the rows. First, wrap the yarn around the hook. Insert the needle into the next stitch. Long hook. A crochet hook, yarn over. Insert the hook into the same stitch. Long hook. Second on the second stitch above. Let's crochet a picot stitch. The method for crocheting the dog tooth stitch is to first crochet a chain stitch. Then we go back to this one and go across horizontally with the needle like this. Wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it through. There are 2 loops on the hook. We use the front loop to go through the back loop. This forms a picot. Wrap the yarn around the hook. And we begin to crochet the 3rd double crochet into the same stitch. This creates a petal with a picot edge. The method for each subsequent stitch is the same as here. We work 3 double crochets into the same stitch, with a picot on the middle double crochet. Let's watch it one more time. Then make 1 slip stitch on the second one, forming this shape. Pass through these 2 threads to make a picot stitch. Then wrap the yarn around the hook and make another double crochet in the same stitch. Like this, we've made 2 petals with picot stitches. Next, make 1 petal in each stitch. Please complete the rest yourself. All stitches are triple crochets. Make a picot stitch on the middle stitch. Complete the remaining parts. This is the insertion point for the final stitch. Cast on. This stitch does not count in the total. Finish on your own. Let's look at this last petal. After finishing, we'll crochet 2 chain stitches. Then, insert the hook into this last stitch like this. Make a slip stitch. Pull it through. After that, you can make 1 chain stitch. Extend and cut the yarn. I'll simply extend and pull it through. Leave a tail of yarn for sewing. This tail should be a bit longer than the first one. Then, we follow the direction of the crochet stitches. This is the right side of the double crochet. Just like this. This is the front side. We'll start rolling from the flower center. Let's recap first. We began with 4 medium-length stitches. Then 3 long stitches. In the same no picot stitch was made here. All the rest are crab stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 in total with crab stitches. Then, following the curl direction, we roll it up. Generally, shape it like this. Then arrange them from darkest to lightest. Or you can complete all the flowers first and arrange them from darkest to lightest yourself, so that when we sew them together, 也是按照从深到浅这样子去给它缝合. So that's the flower part all explained. After finishing I've done 2 rounds of increases here. Next, we crochet the flower. After finishing the flower, it feels like there's leftover yarn. Work a round of double crochets. I then worked another round of double crochets without any increases or decreases. However, due to differences in personal tension, some crafters might find that they don't have much yarn left after crocheting. In that case, 2 rounds of increases. You can also directly crochet a round of double crochets. Next, we'll switch to the leaf yarn and start crocheting the leaves. We'll begin by crocheting the leaf. If your main color is relatively light, I recommend crocheting the leaves from light to dark shades. If your main body color is darker, then just crochet from dark to light shades. This depends on personal preference. You can mix and match freely. For the main part, I'm using color 108, peach. It's a light color. So for the leaves, I'm crocheting from light to dark for the main part. This is where the ends are joined. I made a slip stitch. Then we take the leaf thread and bring it over. Hold down the thread end, leaving a short length of, then hook directly into the leaf thread with a crochet hook. Crochet 1 chain stitch. Then pull the main body thread tight. After completing this chain stitch, here we have 2 yarn ends in the slip stitch we just made. We insert the hook directly. Then lay the yarn end over the front and enclose it while crocheting. Pull through both loops on the hook. This is a single after completing this single crochet, we can take a stitch marker and place it here for reference. Next, let's tighten up these yarn ends a bit more. Now we'll tuck these 2 yarn tails to the back. As for the main yarn, we can leave a tail of a certain and cut off the excess. Later, we'll use a tapestry needle to weave it in. Tuck this yarn tail inside the fabric, or you can hide it as you crochet. Next, we'll work a single crochet. After that, make 2 chain stitches. Try to keep the 2 chain stitches a bit loose. Then skip the next 2 stitches. In the following stitch, insert your hook and work a single crochet. Okay, then crochet 2 chain stitches. Don't crochet the chain stitches too. Keep them a little loose. That's perfectly fine. Then, in the next stitch under the 2 air loops, make a single crochet. That's how we do the first round of the leaf. 1 single crochet. Skip 2 stitches under the 2 chain stitches. Don't hook the next stitch, make a single crochet. Then skip 2 stitches under the 2 chain stitches. Make a single crochet in the next stitch. Follow this pattern in sequence. We'll complete this round. You can finish it yourself, following the previous purchase pattern. After finishing the 2 slip stitches here, there should be exactly 2 empty stitches below. Then at the position marked by the stitch marker. First, we remove the stitch marker. At the position marked by the stitch marker, insert the hook and make a slip stitch. After, we crochet a chain stitch. After the chain stitch, make a single crochet in the slip stitch position. Single crochet done. Place a stitch marker on this single crochet for identification. Next, we begin working into the hole formed by the 2 chain stitches. Start by making 2 single crochets. Then insert the hook directly. At this point, we can just bring this yarn end over. And when crocheting the single crochet, wrap it inside. To weave and hide it together. Then 2 single crochets done. Corresponding to this single crochet, crochet 1 single crochet on top. Pull the single crochet through. Then, into the hole formed by skipping a stitch under the 2 chain stitches. Work 2 single crochets inside. This is essentially working single crochet for every corresponding stitch. For the second round of the leaf, we are working entirely in single crochet. Everyone, follow this crochet method. Finish the second round of single crochet by yourselves. Complete the leaf on your own. At the end of the second round of single crochet. Here we finish crocheting these 2 single stitches to complete the round. For the second round, make a slip stitch at the marked position of the stitch marker. Slip stitch. After finishing, begin crocheting the third round. First, make 1 chain stitch. Insert the hook into the same stitch where the slip stitch was made and crochet 1 single stitch. Place a stitch marker on this single stitch as a marker. Next, we'll crochet 3 single crochets back along the row, including the stitch with the marker. That makes a total of 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. After completing these 4 single crochets. In the next unworked stitch after that, place a stitch marker to keep track. This is where we'll insert the needle for the next set, specifically for the short stitch needle insertion. Next, we'll crochet 3 chain stitches first. 1, 2, 3. If you prefer larger leaves, you can crochet 4 chain stitches here. Here I'll do 3. Let's look at this position. The stitch marker is on this marker. Count from the double crochet below this corresponding stitch to the left, including this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's in the 6th double crochet stitch. Insert the needle from bottom to top between stitches 6 and 7 and pull it through. Next, wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through to make a single crochet stitch. Alright, let's take a look at this double crochet stitch. It corresponds to the position marked by our stitch marker. Just go left from this double crochet, counting stitches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check the 6th stitch again. Insert your hook into the stitch of the 6th double crochet. Then pull the yarn through to complete the stitch. This is the 7th stitch. This is the 6th stitch. Wrap the yarn over the lower hook. Finish the single crochet. After, start crocheting into the hole formed by the 3 chain stitches. Give the fabric a little turn like this. Into this hole. We use the same method for crocheting leaves. First, crochet a single crochet. Then, yarn over with a hook. Insert it into this hole. Crochet a half double crochet. For the half double crochet, with 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all at once. That's how you do a half double crochet. Wrap the yarn again. Crochet 3 double crochets in this hole. 1, 2, 3. Then yarn over and crochet 1 half double crochet in the hole. Then crochet 1 single crochet. Actually, if you take this middle double crochet as the axis of symmetry, both sides are completely symmetrical. Because we crocheted 3 double crochets. This double crochet is the axis of symmetry. The sides are double crochets. The sides are half double the sides are single crochets. Looking at it this way makes it easier to understand. After finishing this, continue crocheting chain stitches upward. 1, 2, 3. For this leaf, you can crochet 4 chain stitches. Because part of it will be covered by this leaf. If you prefer this leaf to be larger, you can crochet 4 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then flip it over. Flip it over. Look here. Starting from this leaf on the right. Count 6 stitches to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then begin crocheting between the 7th and 8th stitches. This is the 7th stitch. Then insert the needle from top to bottom between the 7th and 8th stitches. Insert the hook from the 7th stitch like this, then yarn over. We'll be making a single crochet. Single crochet. After finishing that, next, into the hole formed by the chain stitch. The method is the same as on this side. First, make 1 single crochet, then yarn over. Make a medium long stitch, then yarn over. Crochet 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, then yarn over again. Crochet a long medium long stitch. 1 medium long stitch. Next, for this last single crochet, we'll leave it unfinished. Keep the 2 loops on the hook as they are. Then press down the first leaf again. Crochet into the first leaf here. Like this. When there are 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all loops. That's the stitch method. Just secure this leaf in place, so the shape won't warp or curl like this. Like this. Once you've crocheted this way, this is the first set. Between here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 stitches make up 1 set. Including this stitch, that makes 7. Then we'll skip 1 stitch later. So that's 8 stitches. Okay, 8 stitches per group. Next, we'll insert the hook and start a new set of swallows. Take off this stitch marker. When we put stitch markers on, it's easier to find the grafting stock this way. Insert it directly into the stitch marked by the stitch marker. Start crocheting the first single crochet, which is the second group. First single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches make 1 group. First, crochet 8 single crochets. On the stitch after these 8 single crochets, where we haven't crocheted yet, place a stitch marker. This is where we'll insert the hook for the 3rd set of leaf single crochets. Let's mark it first, to make it easier to find the spot for the next set. After finishing the 8 next, we'll crochet 3 chain stitches. After finishing the 3 chain stitches, we'll find where to work next. Count from this stitch. From the back stitch, don't count the previous group yet, because we crocheted 1 between these 2 stitches. Then insert the hook between these 8 stitches. That would be the 7th stitch position. Insert the needle from bottom to top. Wrap the yarn around the hook. Pull it through. Then look back at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then directly in this hole we insert the needle. Single crochet. Half double crochet. 3 double crochets. Then a half double crochet and a single crochet. Done. That's 3. Here are 3 chain stitches. There are 4 here, but 3 will also work. Make 4 chain stitches. You can make 3 or 4 chain stitches. Either is fine. That means working 1, 2, 3, 4 chain stitches. Then flip it over. After that, we don't need to count. Just go right into the stitch behind this one. Here, insert the needle from top to bottom. Insert the needle from top to bottom like this. Between this stitch and the next one. Then pass the needle through from top to bottom. Wrap the yarn around the hook. Crochet a single stitch. Okay, now flip it over. Into the hole formed by the chain stitch. We do a single crochet, then a half double crochet, 3 double crochets, 1, 2. 3, and then another half double crochet. Finally, make an unfinished single crochet here. Then insert the hook into the first leaf. Go. Pull through all 3 loops, good. And with that, we've completed another set. Next, at the position marked by the stitch marker, we'll start crocheting the third set of leaves. At the spot marked by the stitch marker, insert the hook and make a single crochet, following the exact same method as the second set. First make 8. This is the second one. Stitch 345. Stitch 788. Place a stitch marker on this next stitch. Mark it. But this is where the first stitch of our next set of single crochets will go. Stitch marker. Then the next crochet step is 3 chain stitches. Then this stitch forward doesn't count as one. This stitch actually belongs to the next one. C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 8, this completes the set. Now this set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the overlapped stitch makes 8, so 8 stitches form one group. Okay, so next, this stitch doesn't count, because he was from the previous group. Move left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're between the sixth and bath. Inserting the hook here follows the exact same method as the second group. Everyone, just follow the same crochet technique used for the second group. Find your own insertion points and crochet accordingly. Let's take another look. This stitch doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. Start from the 7th stitch as the reference point. Insert the needle from bottom to top between stitches 7 and 8. Pull the needle out between the 2 stitches. Single crochet. Make sure to find the correct insertion point. Count your stitches after each round. Check if this leaf group occupies exactly 8 stitches. Next, follow the same crochet method as this leaf. You can complete it on your own. Let's see, the third round of leaves is now finished. At the end, there are 4 stitches left. We'll just crochet 4 single stitches directly. 2, 3, 4. Then insert the needle at the position marked by the stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker and make a slip stitch. Then work 1 chain stitch. Pull it through and cut the yarn. Using a tapestry needle, hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. Like this. And just as we began, here are stitches 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4 stitches and the remaining 4 stitches form an 8-stitch loop in total. If we crochet all the leaves this way, just tidy them up a bit. They won't curl up messily like this. Then they'll lie much flatter. That's our leaf tutorial. Before sewing, we'll first arrange all the crocheted flowers, from darkest to lightest. Then we'll sew them following that same dark to light order. Once sewn, they'll line up from darkest to lightest. And we'll stitch them row by row. Now let's look at the sewing method. From dark to light. After finishing one, we'll take another dark colored flower.
The flower we just crocheted looks like this.
Roll it along the direction of its curl. This is the front side of the spring flower. This is the back side. When rolling, keep the front side facing up. Start by rolling it loosely. Like this, just a rough roll. Don't roll it too tight. If it's rolled too tightly, the flower will end up smaller and more cramped. It won't look very nice either. Then we'll arrange it properly like this. The overall arrangement should look quite nice. We'll use a sewing needle through the same holes where we made the double crochets. Then pass the needle through these holes. Pass through each layer in the double crochet holes. Then take one stitch at the flower center. Pull it through. Then adjust this floral pattern. I like flowers. You can roll it up a bit. Then let's change direction. Or maybe this just stays within this subtitle. Let's move to the next subtitle. Now put it back on. Like this. Alright, adjust the flower to a nicer position. Let's bring the leaf over. For the leaf, we insert the hook at the second leaf stitch. When making an unfinished stitch, the stitch that's connected with the first leaf. Then select from here. Then pick two more from below. Just align this stitch to the opposite side. Then pull it through like this, okay? This way the thread comes off. Thread the other end through. And this thread goes from bottom to top. Then this thread goes from top to bottom. Pass it back through, the two directions are different. Then cross them like this. Pull it tight. Okay, so our thread was just here. Then we pass it through to the center of the flower above. And this thread end. Bring it over. Then this one also needs to be repositioned from the back. Then one layer, two layers. The third layer and the pin insertion point of this wire. Just make sure the exit points are not together. This wire goes into the hole at the bottom. And this one should be placed in the hole right next to it as much as possible. That looks good. Now we cross the two thread ends and tie a knot. Digging a well. Alright, 2 or 3 knots should be enough. Then adjust it a bit. Trim off the excess thread. Flatten it against the center of the flower. Move down a bit, leave a little edge. Don't leave too much. Roll it up like this. This way it'll have light and dark shades. Light and dark. It depends on personal preference. Leaves stitched the way we just did. It requires very little maintenance. This is just how it naturally looks. And once it's all stitched together, it won't wobble or shift around. Very sturdy. Arrange them according to your own preference. And finish it.